So today I'm going to be combining both my February wrap-up and my March to be read, simply because of my lack of reading skills this month. I almost feel ashamed of the number of books I've read for February because it was so bad. I think it was because I tried to start so many books and I just didn't finish a lot of them, but I'm like almost done with several books. So I think I learned my lesson, and I hate starting so many books. I don't know why I started doing that this year, but I used to be like a one book at a time kind of girl, but lately I've been like starting multiple and like switching stories. It's kind of weird. So by lack of reading success, I mean 2 books. But I'm setting my reading goal for March to be pretty high up because it is spring break. But anywho, I will just tell you guys the 2 books I read real quick and we will go from there. The first book I finished this month is Animali by Tanya Cooper. I always trip when I say this name and I don't know why. I gave this book a 3.5 stars, I believe. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a favorite read of mine, but I thought it was really good. Good enough that I will be picking up the second in this series. I do plan on doing like a more fuller length review of this book, so I won't go too much into detail, but basically if you like science fiction-y type stuff, I would say give this a shot. Basically it's about a girl who one day discovers that she has these abilities to shift things with her mind, make things appear or disappear, and she doesn't know exactly what this means, and this guy that mysteriously pops up with one of his friends comes to help her. And it sounds, I'm making this sound really lame, but it's not as lame as it sounds, I promise. But basically, without like spoiling too much, that's all I can really tell you is she basically realizes she's got these powers and she could create things with her mind, and that there's this secret organization that is after people like herself, so it's important that she learns how to control and use her abilities and also stay safe at the same time. Like, I felt like there was all this build up for something like really big and gigantic to happen with this organization that's after her, but I felt like personally for me, like I felt like that really didn't happen. I don't know if it's because it's like setting you up for the series, so I think a lot of the questions that I still have are going to be answered hopefully in the next book. Like, there was still a lot of action and cool stuff that happened in this, but I felt like we still didn't really know, like at least I don't, maybe if anyone else has read this, but I still just don't feel like I understood exactly why they're after her. Like, I get why, but I don't know, it's just all confusing and I'm just going to stop rambling. And then the only other book I finished in the month of February was The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. This is like a series of novellas, 5 novellas to be exact, that take place before Throne of Glass occurs and kind of gives you like a backstory. And so I wanted to pick this up before I completely started into the series because everyone was saying you need to read this first if you haven't yet started the series, because it's just better to start with this, and I'm really glad I did. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I loved this, and I could tell this is going to be a new favorite series of mine. I love the world, I love the characters, and just everything that it's built up to. I'm so anxious to start reading the next book and continue on with the series. It didn't even feel like 5 separate novellas. Like, to me, like all the novellas tied into each other, like they just happened in sequence order. So it just felt like you got like a whole different book. Like, it just felt like a whole book on its own. I couldn't tell that it was really novellas, and I really liked that about this book, and it's pretty thick. So I mean, it is pretty like novel length here. And this has been like the only book since I've read Allegiant that has successfully made me cry like big fat ugly tears, because just that last novella just, ugh. This novella takes place before Throne of Glass, like I mentioned, and basically it's kind of leading up to the events, and you're kind of going on these like cool missions with her, and she's, the main character is an assassin, and it kind of shows her life with the other assassins and like where she was brought up, and it definitely had some very good moments where I'm hoping to see these characters in later on in the books. And I am still reading Endless Night by Cressley Cole. This is just the dust jacket. But I have not finished this yet because I got really sidetracked with The Assassin's Blade this month. So this kind of got pushed to the side, but I'm hoping to finish it this month because I'm dying to like figure out what's going to happen and get on to the next book. And I've also started reading Nightblade by Garrett Robinson. So far, I actually really like this book. I could tell it's going to be something that hooks me. I'm already hooked into it. I love the writing. I love that this takes place in like, I'm getting the feel of like a medievalish sort of time. Really good. I'll I plan on doing a review on this one, so when I finish reading it, I'll have that posted. I'm about to page 43 right now, and so far, really enjoying it. And then the last book that I have started and I have not finished, but I'm very close to finishing, is Walking Disaster by Jamie McGuire. This is like a retelling of Beautiful Disaster, which is one of my all-time favorite new adult books, and this is basically told from Travis, the lead male. In that series, it kind of is like a retelling from his point of view, and so far, I mean, I love Beautiful Disaster, so I'm loving Walking Disaster. I'm almost done. I'm on page 299, so I've only got like that much more to go. But I picked this one up because in my TBR jar last month, I ended up picking Beautiful Wedding, which is kind of like basically a novella that takes place after this. So I wanted to read this before reading that, so yeah, that's kind of why I decided to pick this up right away. And it's been a while since I've read Beautiful Disaster. I think I read it last January, not this January, but last year. So I think I needed to revisit some Travis Maddox in my life, and I'm glad I did because I adore the series so much. So that concludes everything that I have read or started reading in the month of February. So for the books that I have started reading, I'm hoping there shouldn't be any excuse for me not to finish them in the month of March. But we shall see. Hopefully this reading failure does not carry on to next month. But I set my reading goal high because I need to catch myself back up. So crossing my fingers for that. So the books I have selected for the month of March to finish reading are, as I mentioned, A Beautiful Wedding by Jamie McGuire. This is the novella after Walking Disaster. Very short. Like, I'm pretty sure I could finish reading this in like a day. So this one I'm not so worried about finishing, so very excited to read and finish this. I also plan on reading Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, which is technically the first book in this series since I finished Assassin's Blade. I'm dying to figure out what happens next, so very excited and looking forward to picking this bad boy up. And since I didn't get around to reading this last month, I didn't know if I would even have time to read this, so I predicted correct, but I'm hoping to start this month because I'm still like, I really want to read this. And I mentioned this in my ABC challenge video, and a lot of people recommended to read this. So that is These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I've been seeing this pop up again lately. Like, it had its big thing when it came out, and it seems like it died down, and now a lot of people are reading it again. And this has been a book that I've just been wanting to read for a long time, so hopefully I can get to it this month. It is the goal, so hopefully that happens. The next book I want to read this month is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I hope I'm saying that right. This book has been so highly talked about this past month, so I'm definitely excited to get my hands on it. It seems like it took forever to get to me in the mail, but it finally got here, so very excited to read this. And then the next one I picked out is so I can get a jump on my ABC challenge, since I've only picked out one book so far from it and I need to keep picking out more books. So I picked out Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. This is another one of the books that several people mentioned that I need to start, so I definitely plan on reading this. It's really short and I've heard really good things about it, so I'm very excited. I've been wanting to start the series forever, so hopefully that can happen this month. And if by some luck I can finish all those books, fingers crossed, I'm going to pick out a book from my TBR jar just because it's really fun to do. And it gives me motivation to pick up a book that maybe I wouldn't have picked up before. So here we go. This one it is. Okay. Revenge of the Girl with a Great Personality. I wish I had the cover for you right now because I just rearranged my books. So I'm not exactly sure where I put it. I'm thinking I put it behind the stack behind me somewhere, like behind these books. So I'll have it for you in my next video, or I'll post it. Better yet, I'll post a picture right here. Wow, Kirsten, that's a thing. You can do that. Alright, so those are the books that I read, the sad few that I've read in the month of January, and my March to be read list. Hopefully that happens, and it's the goal. It's my goal this month to actually finish every book I set on my TBR, so let's hope this happens. Let me know what you guys read in the month of February and what you're planning on reading this month for March. I would love to hear what you guys are reading in the comments below. With that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!